you've got the ability now. You've got a fancy computer, and it can make a universe.
Yes.
But there's that pre-Big Bang state you're in.
Yes.
But you have to give it the first programming line that gives it a rule by which it operates.
I don't know. What is yours? Let me hear yours. Back.
Yeah, so it's saying 1 and 0.
Yes.
So I've tried to. I once heard about a very, very smart Indian boy from a village who somehow stumbled across some math book and it became some genius in
I
math.
remember that. I saw that.
And he said God is 1 and 0, and I didn't understand it, so I learned a bit more about what he was saying. But at the time, I was quite young and I didn't appreciate the sentiment. And now I have more attachment to what that means.
Yeah.
That without 1 and 0, the opposite, it's hard to really frame anything. Hard. This is.
Yes. So is this a 1?
Yeah. And then
0.
not a 1.
Yeah. Well, they're all 1s because air particles.
Yeah.
I get you.
And then there's like smaller ones, but it keeps breaking down.
Infinitely.
Yeah. But it's just that core rule is this opposite. Men and women. Even though that's even, I think I was listening to someone saying how there's so many more states of this, hermaphrodites, and like people don't know. So there's like in between, but there's still infinitesimally, there's opposites, because there's smaller opposites happening and mixed, but there's still this contradiction, and it's just so hard.
It's like a dichotomy.
Yeah, it's so hard to even think about that, about to picture another way of there being. And I think that's that fourth dimension. It's just beyond anyone I've ever heard speak or read about being able to describe a reality where that's not the core fundamental.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's the only thing we've experienced, right?
Yeah.
That's so when I tell you to imagine something you've never experienced, you will never be able to imagine it because you're only making images based on things you've seen.
The nicest way I've ever heard that put forward is describe the sun to someone who is born blind.
Yeah, you can't. Can't.
Yeah, you can't. And there's I wish there was more money in experiments and papers in this region, and from a purely selfish point of view, I would like to be able to do that type of stuff. And if all this stuff happens in the West, I could, but there's no money in it, so I've got to pay the bills. The EUI is not paying itself.
So here's what you do: you find another venture that can make you filthy rich, and then you can fund this.
Yeah, I wish money had been my driving factor in life.
That's such a sad statement. If I stopped you right there and just put a period there.
Yeah. I mean, I would have stayed in law if money was the be all and end all.
Yeah.
But it's never really, money comes and goes.
That's why I'm doing this, right? It's a passion project. I'm not trying to be lucrative with this. I doubt there's going to be people watching this. I'm pretty sure we're the only ones talking right now, but there's something beautiful about it, even if there's nobody watching.
Well, we'll be sharing. I'm sure we'll get some people. I'll use my digital voodoo on it. Yeah. So what was I saying? We're saying...
The sun.
There's this beautiful experiment. Some scientists, or I don't know if they were scientists, some people, they took some congenitively blind adults.
Mm-hmm. That means they were born blind, right?
Born blind.
Yeah. Okay.
And some non. Mm-hmm. And they gave them competitive tasks to perform. And at the end of the competitive tasks, the people who were not blind, they celebrated by raising their hands like, yeah. What do you think the congenitively blind people did to celebrate their victory?
The same thing.
They did.
Yeah.
It's just, it turns out that's part of the human experience. Yeah. It's not something you learn by environment or by seeing. You just apparently do this.
It's inherent.
Yeah. And more recent research that I'm trying to follow more of is saying that there's genetic memory.
Yeah, I've heard
that's
this.
Some crazy stuff.
That's crazy.
Imagine you could unlock memories from your ancestors.
Bro. I was thinking something similar to this. It's, well, not very similar, but somewhat similar. So why does the body store fat? It stores fat because the body is getting more food than usual, more calories than usual, and we're telling the body thinks that we might go for some time without any of it. That's why we're eating in excess, and so it stores it as fat.
Yes.
Right. And so we want to store this as energy in case the next day we don't have any food. But the body doesn't know that we're actually just fat bastards who just want to eat. Right? It doesn't know that.
Yes.
I'm saying, what if you can find a way through like maybe some scientific method in the future, we make a machine or something that makes you tell your body, no, I'm just eating this because I'm hungry. So get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Everybody would be fit.
So and also you would be a trillionaire. I feel like there's a significant amount of money. Yeah, this biohacking stuff is nuts, man. Like it is the future of everything. Maybe the current.
I was going to mention, isn't it crazy that all the things ever since, not the inception, but ever since I'll just say inception of technology that we thought of all the possibilities that this can go, right? We think about, oh no, when AI first started making some buzz, we're like, oh, what if machines become armed?
Did you see they did it last week?
You showed me, right? So I was saying, like, it seems like all these theories we have that we are trying to avoid are sort of becoming inevitabilities, that they're going to happen. Why is it that way?
The reason I like to ascribe to is every generation builds what they see as kids on sci-fi. Yeah, because things when I was 17, I guess, people are making them now. And whoever is 17 now, whatever crazy things are happening on the sci-fi thing, that's what's going to be when they're older. Like, yeah, I'm going to be the guy that makes that.
Yeah, and I was going to mention this thing because the rate of innovation is unprecedented with human beings.
Yeah, we live in an amazing time.
Yeah, the thing is, we're not used to it because this is, as I said, unprecedented. It's never happened before. We had the Industrial Revolution, and then all of a sudden, within a century, we created so much that, because when we talk about evolution, we talk about what human beings genetically are made of, and the genetic memory, for instance, your instincts, we were not prepared for this. We are basically beta testers of this technology.
Beautifully said. And I think there's I don't know, because I'm not a parent. I'm not really around parent. Well, actually, my fiance has a niece.
Okay.
So I'm sort of around children some of the time. But her parents are very smart people. So I wonder how much parents are educating their children on how to navigate this world beyond you do you, bro. And I, for example, do tell I don't live in the same country as my nephews and nieces.
Are they in the Caribbean?
Yeah, 3 of them are.
Okay.
One's in London.
See, I pay attention to your podcast.
Yeah.
It's almost creepy, isn't it?
Yeah, so. My nephew, it's his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Aiden.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, and he told me some Bermudian won a gold medal in the Olympics. And the reward in Bermuda is you get a national holiday every year named after you.
Oh, wow.
And a street named after you.
I want to move there now.
Yeah.
What gold medal did I get, though? The only thing I remember is as a kid, I got a gold medal in school for shot put.
Oh, really? They do that here?
Yeah, it was in school, though. It wasn't like
because I've asked about it. You're the first person who told me, like, we did shot put, javelin, all the Olympic games. At school, you learnt them all.
We did the basic ones: long jump, shot put, and football.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just in the school's backyard.
Yeah, because they don't do fencing here either. I wanted to do that here, but they don't do fencing in Bahrain. Yeah, fencing, my school did fencing. Yeah,
I thought they looked cool, kind of like Squid Game characters, but white.
Yeah,
or at least, Squid Game characters are fencing characters, but red. Let's say that. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that whole thing. Well, I want to know, what were your other questions?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I knew. Like, and
I'm glad you wrote this down. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first thing I wrote, oh wow, I was going to talk about Call of the Void. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I haven't. Please tell me.
Psychology. I talked about it also a little bit in the past episode, but I said I want to expand on it in a future episode. Call of the Void. Have you ever had a thought while you're driving your car, just randomly, it's a suicidal, quote unquote, suicidal thought, like what if I just run into a wall? What if I just move the steering wheel to the right? Or if you're on a roof of a high building and look down, like what if you have a hunch? What if I jump? But then you stop yourself, like, whoa, that's crazy. Stop! Don't do that.
Have I ever had that?
Yes.
I've had
or anything similar,
alarming thoughts.
Yeah, and then you had to stop yourself, right?
No, like I'll tell you my alarming thought when I'm driving. Okay. You're a gamer, so this will.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if the thing that's happening is really the thing that's happening.
Okay.
So you know that when you play driving games, the point of view you get is you get to stare down at two hands, a steering wheel, and legs.
Mm-hmm.
The next time you're driving, look down, and when you see that thing, you're like, wait,
it's me.
Is it the game?
I've had that. I've had that.
It's a weird feeling.
I was like, when I play video games, right? When I play first-person shooters, there's in PC when you play, there's something called field of view sliders.
Okay.
So basically, field of view is how much you can the monitor can see of the area. Yeah. So usually the number goes from 60 to like 120 degrees, right? So like, cameras have wide angles or prime lenses or whatever, right? That's actually not an opposite, but whatever. So it's the same thing with when I play video games. Usually when you play first person shooters, you see the field of view and the point of view of the soldier.
Yes.
The soldier's carrying the gun. However, like maybe you can only see his wrist.
Yes.
And then I look in real life, if I were holding a gun, I can see my wrist, my elbow, my legs. So what kind of field of view am I in? Right. And so I think of myself as a video game character, like how much can I see, and versus how much does my character in a video game see, and why is it so different, and things like that.
It's really interesting that I think at least even now, people would probably frown on your reference, say, I look at myself as a video game character. But when you really break that down, and you said, for someone who, it doesn't matter your age even now, but if you took yourself as a video game character and you said, all right, now I need to score health points, happiness points, fashion points,
stamina,
all of this stuff. Same for video games. So I'm going to treat my life like this.
Mm-hmm.
I need to earn money. And if I do bad, I'm going to go to jail.
Yes.
If I do good, you're going to treat your life probably better than you are now. Because a lot of people are passengers in their own lives.
Yeah, they're autopiloting.
Autopiloting. Absolutely. And it's often, the rhetoric I've heard at least, are the people who say, oh no, video games are bad for you. I'm like, well, actually, if you treated yourself like the hero of the story, you probably have a better time with it.
I was going to say one thing also, because you talked about, what if I do this thing, I'm going to go to jail. I think there are only two motivators for a human being.
Oh, go on.
To do every single action they've ever done.
Go on. Oh, this is interesting. Go on.
It's either reward or punishment.
Reward or punishment.
Think about it this way. Anything you can think of. Why do you not speed? Right? Why do you not cross the speed limit? It's because you're afraid of getting stopped by a police officer. That's the punishment, and you go to jail. But there's also a reward. I speed because I feel good. Dopamine rush or whatever, adrenaline and all that stuff. Why do I work 9 to 5? The reward is money, right? The reward
or a reward.
Yeah, a reward.
Yeah, whether money, satisfaction,
whatever it is.
Yeah, helping someone.
Yeah, anything.
There's a reward.
Anything you can think of, anything right now. This is a challenge for me to you. Anything you can think of, I can break it down to why you do it and why you don't do it.
Okay,
it's always going to be punishment and reward.
Punishment and reward.
Always. If loving a person gets you killed, you would not love people. Or you would try your best to avoid it. Maybe it's something it's innate in us to love. But it's more philosophical. But loving someone has its benefits. They can do things for me. They're loyal. They can give me money.
Taking a vow of silence for the rest of your life.
There's a reward for that.
What?
I don't know what monks, why they do it. I'm sure there's a reason why they do it. The reward doesn't have to be tangible. It can be a state of mind.
Oh, that was a nice answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I wanted to go live in an ashram for 6 months and just be silent for a great part of that.
That's your reward.
My boy, it was very selfish things. It was to like just see what happens.
Oh, like it's a challenge.
No, just I wonder what will happen. Like I've you're saying we only know what we've experienced.
Mm-mm.
I've never experienced that.
Okay, that's not very selfish. That's like exploratory.
It's selfish because that puts forward that I've no responsibilities, and I can just decide that my family, I'm not going to speak to you for 6 months. I'm just going to go live my life alone and pretend you don't exist. So it's quite self-centered to do something like that because you're pretending that you have no responsibilities to them, and so that's not cool. So I've never done it.
Going back to Call the Void.
Yes, sorry.
You're fine. So it's basically a thought that you've had that can self-harm, and then you snap out of it.
Yeah. So I think when the first time I abseiled, probably.
What is that?
It's when you like stand at the top of something with a rope and jump over the edge.
Oh,
so
okay.
I remember that being the feeling because it was like, this is a bit weird.
Yeah. So
do you? And then you do, and then you're like, ugh.
Yeah. It's like, or like if I had a gun, would I? Oh no! Don't do that. Right? It's a very interesting.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I just cut my hand.
Okay.
2 days ago.
Okay.
And it was. I think it might even be this thing you're talking about called a void. So it was I was at a photo shoot and I was opening this big umbrella, and in this umbrella there's this weird catch.
Okay.
If you don't open it right, it'll pinch your finger.
Okay.
And I was telling myself, just remember. And I've never cut myself in this thing. I've used this thing like maybe 100 times.
Okay.
I was telling myself, don't do it the wrong way because you'll cut yourself. And I exactly did that. And it was in some weird way that I was aware but not aware. And it just, I know I'm not supposed to do this. And yet, and I was telling myself just before, don't do that.
Yeah.
And then I did it. And I was like, what?
Think of it in a grand scheme of things. Like in a grand way. You're in a tall building, you have that hunch. No way you're going to jump.
Well,
right?
Some people do, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if they're suicidal. But I mean, for a person who's not suicidal, but has this thought, you're not going to do it. But it's very, very normal for you to think, what if I jump? You ask that question and then you snap out of it.
Yeah.
I want to go off on a tangent. The umbrella you mentioned, because it doesn't rain a lot in Bahrain. I'm guessing it's like a light.
It's for the lights. Yeah.
I want to make sure. I was thinking
it's
right
for
thing.
the lights.
Yeah. So Call the Void. So there is no psychological, because you're into psychology, right? And this is the term for it, because you're getting a call from the void. From you're on the roof.
Very nice.
You're getting a call, right? Muslims would say it's shaitan. It's Satan.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's interesting.
But I don't think it is. Because if you think about the Islamic explanation for shaitan wants you to be a bad person. So why would he tell a good person who's on this path to go to heaven to actually jump and then get the reward that he's fighting against? Because the Shaitan's goal is to dissuade people, to make them bad.
What does it say in Islam about suicide? Do you end up in heaven? Because I think most of the Abrahamic religions say you don't go to heaven.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it's a definitive answer. A lot of people, there are clerics and scholars, they say,
oh, it's one of them. You take an opinion.
Yeah, you take an opinion because you have to think the human being is such a nuanced and sophisticated being. What drove this person to make this decision? God will never just put you in hell because of the end result. He'll question you why, right? What if you kill yourself to save your family or something like that? Does that mean you go to hell still? No, I don't think it's like ones and zeros. Like, yeah, it's either you do or not. But I think it's more of a psychological thing. Why that happen? Okay, I don't know why the call itself happens. Like, I think it's because it's something you've never experienced before and you want to experience, but your brain then runs a simulation in your head. It's like, if you do this experience, you're going to die. That's why you snap out of it. So the way that somebody is theorizing, I read some articles on this. They're theorizing is once you look over the edge of the roof, right, and you want to jump, you're at a very dangerous place when it comes to height. You could die if anything goes wrong. Yeah. When you look down, what the brain does is it recognizes that the ground level is the safest place to be. So the brain calculates what's the fastest way to get to the ground. It's to jump. But then your survival instincts tells you if you do that, you're going to die. And that's exactly the moment where you snap out of it.
How very interesting.
You want another cool fact?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is something, I don't know if it's 100% true. All right.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about what you said.
Yeah, this is it's something I thought about. It's very interesting. Think about why people get motion sickness in the car. I've heard this. I hope this is true because it's such an interesting argument or explanation. You get motion sickness because, or at least what happens is when you're in a car, your brain is processing that you're moving. You're looking at objects moving from this position to this position around you. So your brain concluded that you're moving. However, your brain is also saying, wait, I'm not moving this person. How is he moving? His legs aren't moving. That means this person has been poisoned. He's hallucinating. Therefore, you get motion sick so you can vomit out.
Get rid of the poison. That's a very nice way of thinking about it, isn't it?
It's so nice.
Yeah, the body's got some crazy reactions when it thinks you've been poisoned.
Yeah.
To remove the toxins. Some great autopilot stuff carries on that you have no control over. You're just a passenger. Okay, body, this is what's happening. Yeah, you've brought to mind a narrative I like to tell people about why. I don't know if this is a common thing or not, a common belief about why you get tired on holiday or you feel tired on holiday, but you don't at home in the same way. What, have you heard anything about this stuff?
I've never heard anything, but
what's your thoughts?
Why I get tired on a holiday?
Yeah, doing the same stuff. Like, not like you're over there like abseiling, jumping off mountains. Just doing ordinary stuff. You just get more tired on holiday.
Like even if I was staying in the same place in my country, not traveling, right?
No, I mean traveling.
Oh, traveling. I mean, the first thing is jet lag that comes to my mind.
You can remove the jet lag, but after that, you've got over your jet lag. Just doing the same stuff, you're just more tired.
I don't think I've ever had that.
You haven't? Almost everyone I've spoken to, like if you're going to a restaurant, you're more tired. Just generally, and the people.
Maybe I don't travel that much. However, I did travel to America a lot for college.
No, it can't be. The bit of that. It can't be to someone you've gone like to new places.
Okay, yeah. Maybe because I don't even first time I went to America, I never felt tired.
You didn't?
I think because I was excited for college. I was very young, 17. So
interesting. So the people I've spoken to about this is, if you're going out for dinner, or if you're just going out to do ordinary things that you do at home, everything's more tiring. And often people put it down to, you're just relaxing. But like after being so stressed, but sleep doesn't really work like that. You can't really save up your sleep and then like sleep for 200 hours and not sleep for the next 200 hours. And being tired doesn't compensate in the same way. So I've put together probably 4 different things that I've heard to formulate this view on it. It's essentially our brains run on autopilot a lot.
Yes.
And I had never been in this room before. So my computer is requiring more energy to process this information. But like the fat thing, the body wants to preserve energy because it doesn't know when that next bit of energy is coming from. So for things and scenes that we're familiar with, we're not really processing everything. Kind of seeing it, and some things are a bit blurry, but they don't need to be filled in any level of detail unless you focus on it. And then when you focus on stuff, you find yourself more tired because you're using your computer power. So when you go to unfamiliar surroundings, you're more tired because you're using more processing power, which
makes
is
a lot of
more
sense.
energy. And then when you're saying with your Call of the Dark thing, I need to think about it more, but I think there's some tie-in there with the way that your brain is telling you default, get to the bottom floor. And there's some way that you're processing energy. It's in that conservation mindset. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about that.
I think you have a very good explanation as to why, if that happens to people, you're processing a lot of information. You're in a country you've never been to before. There's people speaking a language you've never spoken. You're being more aware of your surroundings because if you make a mistake, you could get kidnapped or you could die. I don't know. Like you're in unfamiliar territory. You're outside of your comfort zone, and when you're outside of your comfort zone, there is a part of you that is in survival mode.
Yeah, but see that survival mode. it's that autopilot's turned off.
It is. Yeah,
you're now on manual where you're having to pay attention, but you're not. You're not in control of that switch.
You're not.
It's just you don't know it's happening. Yeah. So I like this thing saying like the pill that get rid of the fat, this conservation, this auto. If you could control those aspects and be aware of them and be alive to them and be able to manipulate them in your own body, that would be it. And really, why can't we? Like, if we spent enough resources as humans, I feel like that should be possible because something's controlling it.
Yeah.
Like, it's happening. We know it's happening. So why can't we have the ability to control it?
This goes back to my what I said earlier about some problems don't have solutions. We have to accept that. For instance, let's say that this happens because of our genetic memory. We control let's make an assumption here.
Okay.
Your brain is your control center.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So all the signals, I'm moving my hand, my fingers in this particular way because I'm thinking I want to move it that way, and my brain sends signals to my hand, and that's why it's happening. Nothing else can dictate that this movement other than my brain. What if there are things that happen that are not dictated by your brain? For genetic memory, like you said, what if the autopilot thing is ingrained in the body as a whole and not just in the brain?
You know, did you just come up with that, or have you been listening to someone talk about this?
No, I just came up with that.
Because that is actually something that the genetic memory, the person that I was listening to talk about it was saying that that's the exact new question we need to be examining, that maybe this stuff doesn't come from the brain.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a total thing. And it could even be communal, because they were talking about transactional memory.
Okay.
How you leave information with different people, like their hard drives, to later recall it through them and then be able to use that information in a more interactive way. So you're right. Maybe this stuff isn't exclusively in the brain in the way that we've just default thought of it.
Or in the soul.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, I'll try to find this piece of content. I'll send it to you. You'll really enjoy it. It's that guy, the Michael dude.
Shermer?
Yeah, it's one of his, all of the
I'm already loving this guy.
I'm going to reach out to this guy. I'm thinking about like recording, not rebuttals, but extra thoughts. Okay. Extra thoughts to things that he and his guests say. Because one thing that I find in his podcast, whilst I love them to bits, they seem to be obsessed with labeling everything. I don't understand why. It has to be X, has to be Y. But by giving it that name, it doesn't add to the body of knowledge.
I think you're trapping it kind of in a label.
Yeah, but they seem to really be focused on doing that. And I don't get it because they are skeptics and truth seekers, as they say. And then a lot of this conversation formulates around trapping it, but that doesn't add to the body of knowledge. That doesn't add to any narrative in the vast majority. In some cases, I guess it does, but often it's not doing anything extra. Like, I don't get why you're so hyper-focused and your guests are so hyper-focused. But I'm not asking to be facetious. I'm asking because I'm genuinely intrigued. Why, for someone who is really after this question, speaks to so many, says so many interesting things, what am I not seeing?
Yeah, you should do it. I mean, as I grew up, because people get put on pedestals, Albert Einstein, right? And justifiably so. But then what it does is it creates like a gap where you feel like you can never reach that person, and therefore I can never, whatever thought I give you, I must be the wrong person because you're the expert in this topic. And that kind of ruins your self-confidence and when it comes to exploring or seeking truth. That's why I'm like, go for it, man. There's one time where I followed this imam because I wanted to learn about religion and my sect and all that stuff. And I was being very scrutinous. Is that a word? I was being
I'm not sure.
Meticulous about how I want to accept this faith and not just like be dogmatic about it. And I always watch his sermons and whatever. And then there's one time he was live and I was a caller.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I just called him and I asked him a challenging question, which he answered. So that experience made me think, oh, these people are not that too far away from me. You know, like
I kind of live my life by the don't ask, don't get. I reach out to tons of people all the time. Why not? Everyone's human, baby.
Exactly.
I'm not better. I'm not worse. We're all just human.
Yeah. All right, we want to see what's next in this raffle.
Go on.
I feel like this is gonna be like a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. You're gonna have to edit this down. Nobody's gonna listen to 4 hours.
We'll see.
The Joe Rogan ones, or even the 2-hour ones that are like crazy interest, I listen to them repeatedly. The ones that I like, but many people I know, like, yo, I'm not listening to 2 hours. I have to convince them to listen to those episodes.
I don't think I wanted to leave this uncut. However, on YouTube, you can put sections on the buffer, so I might do that.
Yeah, right? Smart.
Because, like I said, it's like archiving I'm not doing this to cater to an audience. I'm doing this to archive our thoughts, you and me, the collective. If I cut it, I'm removing a beautiful moment that I'll never be able to retrieve back.
Right? So nice.
Yeah. So I was going to talk about theology and the branches of philosophy, such as because you talked about the first thought experiment you gave me with the stone. I immediately thought of teleology and Aristotelian philosophy, because they have the idea of what makes a chair, right? There has to be the perfect chair somewhere that exists, because at what point does a chair become a chair? Is it when I add that leg?
Yeah, there's another. I can't remember the name of this. It's the same chair. They use the argument of like, was it a pile or a mound?
Okay.
It doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
If you've got like stones, at what point is it a pile?
Yeah.
Like, it's such an interesting question. Is it you remove that one or you add that one? When does that become a thing?
I'll give you a better thought experiment. Let's say you have a ship and you called it, I love a video game called the Obra Dinn. So I'll call the ship the Obra Dinn. Or let's say it's a modern boat for the sake of all right. So the boat has an engine. It has, I don't know, whatever the boat has, the components that the boat has. So now the boat is, something happens to the engine. So you remove the engine, you replace the engine. And then some other component breaks, the railing. You remove it, you replace the railing. Over time, it's not happening all of a sudden, right? At one point, does the Obra Dinn stop being the Obra Dinn?
Yes.
All right. If I keep replacing each and every single part, I can then make another ship with the remaining parts that I've had. Is that the Obra Dinn?
Yeah.
Or is this the Obra Dinn? The one I changed?
It's so nice. I've come across this before.
Yeah.
It's just, I think the only value you can take from that is the journey of considering it. What was the thing you said before? Some things there's no answers.
Yeah, some problems don't have solutions.
I think this is less the solution, unless someone has a solution.
It's more the journey.
Yeah, it's being able to consider it. It's like exercising your mind to being open. So I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to debate. I wonder how many people have those debates, like at home over dinner with their family.
Here?
No.
Oh, in general? I hope a lot.
Do you think they do?
No. I think it's because the structure of a household is sort of like a hierarchy. So you have the patriarch, the father. I don't know, is it the matriarch for the mother? So you have the matriarch. You have the subordinates, the kids.
Subordinates.
I'm thinking of this right now. I'm literally not having
subordinates. Love it.
Yeah, you have to listen to what your parents say, right? So it's very like, if you get to a point where you do have this over dinner, it has to be that where the kids have reached an age where they feel like they're competent in having these conversations with their father. Because sometimes, with their parents. I say father because I have it with my father. But sometimes you need to have like minds. If you have a philosopher father, it's more likely you're going to have these topics than someone who doesn't care.
Yeah.
Right? So
I guess that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never really had those opportunities to really have those over dinner. I think we were complaining about this before.
Yeah.
Like often it's other topics.
Yeah.
But I've never been into sport. Yeah. I like playing sport.
Yeah, same.
Like I greatly enjoy golf. And when I used to play physical sports, but now I'm like, yo, I'm not taking an injury. Everyone I know who plays football in Bahrain, within some period of time, has had a hospital trip. I'm not
every
doing
time
that.
I play basketball now, every single time I sprain my ankle.
Yeah.
I need to like wear some sort of brace or something.
Yeah, so I used to do Thai boxing, but I'm like,
That's
I don't
dangerous.
feel like, I don't feel like picking up a serious
contact
injury.
sports. Like, I'm not into. I really want to do boxing because I feel like I don't know. I'd be good at it, or I like it, right? But I'm not a fan of the sport because you're aiming to cause head injuries to other people for sport. It's basically a the capitalism version of what gladiators used to do for entertainment. It's not killing, right? But sometimes it can happen. Like we only watch or know of boxing matches that happen on TV. There can be underground ones that are getting people killed. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, I did the Thai boxing in a more of
defensive self-defense,
just exercise.
Yeah. See, for me, that's why I like that kind of stuff. Like for boxing, I want to do that. I want to have a punching bag, or one that I don't know that thing that looks
Speed
like what is it called? The areola, the dangling thing in your areola, I think, right? No, areola is like your nipple.
Yeah.
What was that? I think it's similar.
I can't believe I forgot the name, but yeah, they're called speed bags.
Yeah, speed bags. I like how I said areola. That's such a weird. I'm sorry.
Tonsil.
Tonsil, yeah. No, it's not a tonsil.
The thing in the back of your throat is tonsil.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I want to look this up later.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so what was your next one?
All right, yeah. So I wrote a lot of things. The thing is, maybe they're not the best things to talk about given the trajectory of our conversations because I'm
intrigued now.
They go off of philosophy and psychology and all that stuff. All right.
Sure.
One of them is okay. I want to see which order is the best because I wrote Finding the One.
Finding the One.
Because I heard that you're getting married. Yeah. I watched the Hustle Kitchen, and as a young man,
yes,
there's a constant pressure of there's autopilot. Going back to autopilot. Yeah. You're supposed to go to school from this age to this age, college from this age to this age. When you graduate, you're supposed to get a job. Once you get a job, you're supposed to start a family. You're supposed to get married.
Do you have that pressure?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. I think I'm so lucky. My mum never did that to me. She's kind of like, you do you.
It's not like the generic like you have to get married, etc. It's just there's a certain tonality in my family, the way they talk. It's like subtle hints.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For instance, shout out to my parents. I'm not trying to like diss them or anything. But for instance, like from my mom, like, so when am I gonna be a grandmother? All my friends are grandmothers.
Okay.
Things like that. Like that. It's not. Ways. It's a cute way. It's not like pressuring, like forcing me.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, my mom says that to me a lot about having a child. Yeah. So, I take what you mean. Okay, go on.
So that kind of pressure, because I know she wants to say more, but she loves me and she wants the best for me, and if she doesn't want to pressure me, right?
She's trying to encourage you in a nice way.
Encourage, and I can see that, right? It's such a weird human interaction. I can tell the mechanism of which she's trying to operate, and I'm like, it's like so meta when I think about it. It's like I'm literally just breaking down. It's like breaking the fourth wall to myself. I don't know how to explain it. You understand what I'm trying to get, right? So yeah, I was thinking of talking about arranged marriage. Yeah, traditional way of getting married, usually here in this part of the world. And I always had talks with my dad about why I'm not a huge fan of it.
Really? I think it would be wonderful. I've never tried it, but it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I think for me, so arranged marriages do work. All right, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm saying personally for me, I've always, when I make huge decisions or any kind of decision, I need to have the most amount of data I can before making a decision.
But isn't that what an arranged marriage is?
Kind of. Arranged marriages, basically, I think this person suits you, get to know them for a few months, and if that's the case, get married. Getting to know someone, let's say even for a year or two, through that barrier of hey, this is just an arranged thing, but we are doing it so we can, there's always an added pressure. Like, we also want to please our parents.
There's that. I never took that into account.
Yeah. And so we're both like having that in the back of our head. And maybe one of us doesn't want to say no just because they're pressured. And the other person, there's also living with someone is way different than talking to them. Yeah. Because you can't meet each other unless you have someone with you, arranged marriage wise. So, like, it's kind of weird.
It does feel a bit weird.
Yeah, it's like having a spectator watch you. It's like a movie. You're in a movie. Awkward. Yeah, it's like a movie, but there's no screen. They're just watching you. Oh my God,
just watching you.
Right, so you can't meet up. Things like that. You can't get to know the person. For me, I have a sort of checklist that I have to have before marrying someone. She has to meet. This is the bare minimum.
Oh, really?
And it's not a lot.
What is it? If you don't mind saying.
Yeah. I'll let you know. But before I get to that, I just want to finish this point that when you go to one last thing about arranged marriage is there's also that your parents always want the best for you. I know that, right? When you suggest somebody, I know you think they're a good fit for me. Let's say I listen to you and I take that woman or man for a woman's case. What if it fails eventually? If it does fail, I'll look back in my life like, man, I shouldn't have listened to my parents. Even though I knew they want the best for me, there's going to be that thing in the back of my head. It's like, man, I should listen to myself and make that decision on my own. Because if I do, I have nobody to blame except me. Right? But when you add that person, that third party that arranges for me, I'll have somebody instinctually to blame it on. I don't want to have that for my parents. I never want to blame them for something that they didn't intend on. It's not like they set me up for failure. I know that. But obviously humans are different. When it happens, it can be a lot of frustration, etc. Words. I want to eliminate that possibility too. Going back to my checklist, I have to give you like context before I say what I want to say. So as I said earlier, when I was growing up here, very shallow upbringing, as in like not in a negative way. It's just I never really thought about things in a deeper fashion. Never had meaningful conversations such as the ones we're having now. Surrounded by friends talking about generic things that everybody talks about. Excuse me. When I went to America, I told you I met Daniel Hipschman, and that's when my life kind of changed. Because I didn't know I liked this type of conversation until I had it. I'm so grateful because when I look back, I could have been the person that just shut it down. Right? Like, I'm not interested. It's such a deep thing. Just finished college. But I'm so glad that when I was challenged, I wasn't scared. I met him every day. I wanted to grow, wanted to be that person. I got to a point where, like I said, we were equals, kind of. I think he's still much smarter than me. But to the point where we can have like a two-way conversation rather than him explaining things to me.
Sure.
Now, when I found that I find so much joy having those conversations. It's bringing me true happiness or fulfillment, right? That's why I did this show, because I'm not having those here, and I need my fix. I'm like, right? I want that in a partner.
Not true happiness, or
the joy in talking to them and having that person engage in a stimulating conversation with me.
Yeah,
in a two-way conversation. Have you, when you talk to you said you had a niece or a nephew?
Yeah, nieces and nephews.
Okay. How old? Give me like, let's say they had like a range from 2 to 8-year-old.
There's the youngest, I think, is 6.
Okay. So from the times you've interacted with any child, let's say your nephew or niece.
Oh, 2. Sorry.
2.
2.
Okay. You notice that you have to lower down your language level in order for him to understand you. I have an 8-year-old brother, or 9, I think, or 8 or 9. He's turning 9 soon.
No, I actually don't.
Okay.
I actually speak to them the same way I would speak to you.
Okay, that's great. For me, when I do that,
toning it down.
Yeah, for me, for my brother to understand me, because he's never heard the words I'm using if I never have to explain to them, right? I have to bring down the concepts for him to understand why this is bad or why this is good, because his brain hasn't fully matured yet for him to know. If I do that for so long, I will get frustrated when I want to explain how to read to my kid or to my little brother. It's such a simple thing. I know how to do it, but I can't. Sometimes it's hard for me to be empathetic and put myself in their shoes. So I get a little bit frustrated, but I still understand. I slap myself out of it and like, they don't know, so teach them. So I have to still lower down my the way I explain things. Have you seen the YouTube videos where quantum computing is explained in 5 different levels?
Love them.
Right? So it's the same thing. You see how my joy comes from level 5 when I talk to somebody. I do find joy in level 4 and level 3 a little bit, like, you know. But when it comes to level 2 and level 1, I find joy in teaching, but if I do it for too long, I'll be frustrated. I cannot stay in this level for too long. I'm gonna sound so conceited when I'm
not conceited, but you're talking about from your experience. The thing that I would say, the thing that's standing out is you earlier said that we base things on our experience, right? Which is exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
You're basing your view of happiness on your experience. But that's with so many new experiences yet to try. I think it was some philosopher dude. Like, I'd rather be satisfied. Would you rather be a satisfied swine or a dissatisfied human? It's about the pleasures and
sounds like Plato.
Peril of things you don't know.
Sounds like Plato.
I'm not sure which one it was. I thought it was Kant. I don't know.
Oh, probably him.
Some dude. I don't know. I was so many years ago I studied this stuff. But in any event, so you said you wanted to talk about relationships. Like, what's your question here?
Yeah. So I'm going to my checklist, right?
Yeah.
So when I limit my language, it gets frustrating. I don't want to have my partner be someone I have to limit my thoughts and my language in order for me to meet them in the same level of conversation.
Purely conversation. That's the only thing.
Conversation, just like thoughts in general, like if I want to make decisions, life decisions about kids, about things like that. If I want to watch a show together, like these small like things we do for joy, right? Because the way Dan talked to me about this, like arranged marriage, if you think about it beforehand, it was a survival mechanism.
Yeah.
Right? You had plagues, you had all these things that are, you know, diseases, people going to war and battles. You didn't have the internet to communicate and find different people. People did it as a means of survival, right? To get married to a man, whatever, and let them provide and be safe. We don't have that, you know, in most of the world, thankfully. We don't have that fear anymore.
Yes.
We've surpassed that. Now it comes to small things, reading books, watching movies, playing chess, doing all these small things that bring you joy in a marriage, in a marital life, that I feel like we've reached beyond, which is why I'm saying it's fine if you want to do that. If you're complacent, arranged marriage, and you're fine with that, go for it. I feel like for me, I've reached to a point, and because of my experiences in America and everything, that I've reached to a point where there has to be more to marriage. It's not just, I want a wife that can cook well, do laundry, all the stereotypical, you know, things that people want from a wife. Yeah. I need something more. I need a wife who I can talk to and find joy in having conversation, read books together. And it doesn't, I don't have to like lower my, I wouldn't say intellect or intelligence or language, but for the lack of a better term, I'll say that. Lower my intelligence in order to talk to them, right? It's gonna sound like this guy's being sexist because he thinks all women. No, obviously there are women that are smart, right? I'm just saying it's with an arranged marriage. If I can find that person through an arranged marriage, I'll do it, right? But it's hard. It's hard because the culture, and we talked about this earlier. There's nobody that talks about these things. Nobody's interested in these things in this culture. And if there are, it's hard to find. There's not like a dating culture for Arabs, right? You don't,
unless you use that Nasibi app.
Oh yeah.
It's doing very well, by the way.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Shout out to them. Nasibi, right? Yeah.
So what's your fear? What's your question here?
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
That's my checklist. Like that thing that I want in a person, like the way I talk to Daniel and have so much joy, I can talk for 5 hours. I want that in a life partner.
Yeah, that's a good thing to want.
Yeah, that's like, I'm very, very serious about this. If it'll take me 10 years to find this person, I'll wait 10 years. Why do I have to go through the checklist of, I'm supposed to have kids before I'm 30 or 35? There's nothing.
I'm very non-conventional.
Yeah.
I didn't have children. I've kind of followed my own joy, but I would say I understand where you're coming from, but that's not the way that I've chosen my life partner. Mm-mm. It sounds ridiculous, but she makes me want to be the best version of me, which
people will say it's cliche, but that's good. That's good.
It is, because she also inspires me to do. I try to be a being that's open to new experiences, but like anyone, maybe I'm not always that guy, and she does help me find joy, be good, and accepts me broadly for who I am, more than most people I've encountered. I think truly accepts and doesn't try to, I don't know. Yeah, just she's not perfect, as nobody is. Perfection is unknowable.
Yes.
And I'm not perfect, and nor would I want to be. Can you imagine being perfect? Ugh.
Yeah.
How terrible that would be. But the joys we have will range from watching a crappy movie, which she subjected me to the other day. I asked her why we watched it. And she said, sometimes it's good to watch a terrible movie. And I was like, I never would have done that. Thank you for that experience. And I accepted it for what it was. And her passions we have some mutual and some different, but I like that there aren't all the same. I think that's something when you're not accounting for, is the newness that this person will open you to, similar to how this chap you met in America has fundamentally broadened your horizon and where you see happiness. How do you know that wouldn't happen again?
Good point. Very, very good point. And I want to respond to that.
Go on.
So I noticed when I came back, I was Dan Hipschman here.
Okay.
And not in the sense that I'm as smart as him, but I'm a person that is willing to talk to someone who is not as experienced in these topics and want to bring them in as a mentee to eventually become a teacher, or student surpasses his master kind of. I didn't surpass that, but I'm just saying right? When I keep on trying to find people, I can't. And it's frustrating. That's why I talk to him every 2 weeks. That's why I'm looking for guests like you. Like, I need to have this guy here, right? If I have a partner who is like that wants to be JJ, who was in freshman year.
There's probably an easy way to do this.
What?
Wherever the university they're studying psychology for the doctorate, go enroll. You're going to meet that person.
I don't feel like spending PhD money. No,
go to some lectures because there is,
because there's like other checklists, right? Because there's also she has to be Muslim, etc.
University in Bahrain.
In Bahrain,
they're gonna be Muslim.
Oh, okay, in Bahrain. I thought you meant like in the US.
No.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm in here.
How about this? Because you're gonna have a PhD. How about you go and meet some, make some female friends and then tell them, hey, I think this guy's a good fit.
It's a good fit. Matchmaker is probably the last thing I would ever be. I think it's, on the whole, I try not to give people advice. So I think that's the thing. You know what you remind me of the statement I said earlier? Fool men say they're wise. Wise men know that they're fools. You're showing me the latter now. You're saying, I don't know if I'm the best person to give advice. That means you're wise because you think you're a fool when it comes to advice. No, I think I've probably just given bad advice so many times. I'm like, no. It's better let everyone do themselves. Like the best setting someone up in a relationship. Oh no.
That's the best way to do advice I've noticed is to give them advice and say, but I don't know at the end.
Is that the trick?
You can write a whole paragraph on WhatsApp. I think you should do this, but I don't know. Don't quote me. So there's no strings attached.
Oh my God. I think I've just repeated to so many people so many times, I think you just need to, teach the person how to fish rather than giving a fish.
I say that a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, how about we meditate together and I help you find how to be happy instead? And I just said this to a friend last week. She's like, oh, I'm busy. Maybe next weekend. I'm like, okay. I don't think she's going to take me up.
Yeah. There's a lot of people also that when they come to you for advice in a particular situation I give them, they keep coming back with the same problem. I'm like, are you here to listen or are you here to vent? Right? Some people just don't want advice.
Just want to vent.
They just want to vent.
Yeah, I find it hard to know the difference between those conversations until I'm told this is not a solution situation.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I've brought out in learning this truth now in my relationships. I try to
solve.
I try to have a better way of framing.
Now you mean?
Now, yeah. So now I will say at the start of the conversation, is this a situation where you want me to listen or we're looking for a solution? So I know which one to give you.
I do that too now. I used to, because I'm such a solutions-based person. I have to find the answer. There must be a solution, right? And then that ruined so many friendship, not ruined, but tainted so many friendships because I don't want a solution. I just want to vent. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I often don't understand. I just got told off the other day, but she's like, I don't think your friend wants a solution here. They just want you to listen. I'm like, why would they want me to listen? I don't understand.
Yeah, I get that it feels good, but don't you want to avoid this in the future? It's something but I have to give them. It's oh my God, this is like a can of worms.
Yeah,
man.
It's very frustrating. I find I think that's also part of the joy of why I was doing the humanistic laws is because I don't understand some stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. Like if you have a problem, work out the solution.
Yeah.
But I don't see speaking about it ad nauseum helpful.
Yeah. Sometimes it makes sense. Let's say there's something you cannot change at all. Like you have a crappy boss. You try to talk to your boss, but you're still being crappy. You've tried everything. Then you can come to me. I'm saying then you can do whatever you want if you want to talk to me, right? But to me, I won't get frustrated because I know there's nothing you can do, and you just want to rant, and it's something you're bottled up, and you want to have a cathartic experience by talking to me. And that's fine. Sort of like going to the gym. Ranting can do that for people, right? But there's people that they're asking for a solution. They're asking for a solution or advice, and then they come back with the same things. That bugs me because it feels like I'm just talking into deaf ears. It's just going here and coming out here. And it's how I was also talking about this briefly with a friend of mine who came on the show. Language is such a weird thing.
Big time.
Right? The way we communicate, I said this, I feel like I'm repeating what I said verbatim. Because even the tone and the way I lilt my voice sounds, it's kind of giving me a flashback. The way we communicate is legit by me coming up with sound waves using my vocal cords, sending it to you. They're traveling through space in a particular order that I've set them based on my pitch. It's hitting your eardrum and you're deciphering, right? You're decoding that signal, and your brain's saying, "Oh, this probably sounds like this and this and this, and that's what." And these words in this particular order means this, right? I have to trust you to because the way I think, I'm trying to take something so abstract, which are my thoughts, trying to make a physical reaction and encase them in language, something that's physical, right? It's crazy. Yeah. I'm glad that you're appreciating this.
Yeah.
Right. That's the shower thoughts, by the way. Right? I'm encasing this abstract thing into a tangible thing, which are the waves, and I'm sending it to you. And then the order in which I place these words play a role in how you receive the message.
Yes.
If we were telepathic creatures, you would immediately understand what I'm thinking without and exactly how I'm feeling to the T, right? Because you just feel what I'm feeling. You'll just know. Have you watched what's that Netflix show? Black
Mirror?
Black Mirror.
No, I don't watch it.
Okay.
I've been told many times to watch it, but I haven't seen it.
There's one episode I think you'd like. It's called Black Museum. It's really good. So there's a doctor that can wear a headset that makes him feel exactly what his patients are feeling, so that he can assess what's the issue, what's the injury, and he can fix it, right? But it has a dark twist after.
Clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. So We're not like that. I cannot do that, right? So no, we have a social contract in which I'm trusting that this package I'm sending you is you're decoding it and you're taking it the way I intended. I'm counting on your brain and your experience to bridge that gap, to close that gap in knowledge using that package I sent you. Do I know that you got what I intended? I don't know. You could have. There are things that are easier to decode. If I say I am your father, it's not an ambiguous statement I'm saying, right? Well, there are other things, such nuances in relationships and friendships that it can go south pretty quickly. And the more you remove layers of communication, so if I move from talking face to face to text, I'm removing such an important.
I tell people all the time, there's no tonality in a message. Be careful of how you communicate.
Yeah, and that can cause a lot of strain in friendships and relationships, right?
I'm actually writing a book about communication.
You're writing a book? What are you calling it?
Goal-based communication.
Okay.
I've changed the title a few times, but essentially, the thing you're talking about, whether it's messages, relationships, whoever, a tool you can employ to be more successful, more successful in your communication, is to not communicate for you. If you speak for you in the way that you want, often you'll be misunderstood. But if you speak for them with the goal in mind, and then I walk through some tools on how to do this, then clarity, like you're saying, how do you know they're understanding you? You're giving it from your experience the way you want. And that's where a lot of the time the problem happens, because they're not you. And they won't understand. But if they were you, if it's exactly you sitting with you, they're like, that's great. That's a good communication. And often it's like a text message conversation, but then with the real person, because you're not speaking the right way for that person to receive that information.
That's correct. It reminds you of a book, by the way.
Sorry?
It reminds me of a book.
Which one?
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yes. Yeah, good book. Yeah.
Very good book.
Yeah,
it talks about not autopiloting, which is something I'm trying to my best. It's one of those books I have to read more than once.
There's a great many of those. But one of the, like I was saying, innovation in the modern day, audiobooks.
I can't do audiobooks.
Can't do audiobooks.
The only time I can do audiobooks is when I'm like going on a walk. I love reading. Because when I read, I have this kind of narrator in my head. Once you remove that narrator in my head and you're giving a specific person that's reading it out loud, it kind of it's adding like an obstacle in my imagination.
Oh, really?
The only but audiobooks aren't always bad. I like audio lessons. So when I want to learn Spanish, I'm using this audio lesson package called Pimsleur. Amazing, 30 minutes per day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've only done one just to assess whether I want this or not. So good. So it depends. I like books. I never grew up reading. Never was taught that skill.
Really?
Yeah. So I tried to develop it at a very young age. I read a lot of Goosebumps. I don't know if you've heard those.
I was recently told about this Goosebumps thing. I did not know it.
I have I'll show you later. It's a whole drawer inside there stacked full of Goosebumps.
I wasn't a thing when I grew up.
Yeah, so I read those. That's how I got better at English, reading and watching Hollywood, playing video games. If I bring my brother, no offense to him, but if I brought my older brother, you'll see like differences in the way we speak English. Actually, if I would go back, I wish I could, because I was a clean slate, a tabula rasa. I don't know if you've heard that before. A clean slate. I could have picked up any accent, but I've took the American accent because of the media that they produced and I'm consuming. If I could go back, I would have a British accent.
Oh, really?
It sounds so sophisticated. Yeah. I'm not gonna try to attempt one, but I always do.
Those. It is being in London. You don't appreciate it because everyone has it.
Yeah.
Well,
once you go out,
each accent says where you are from in England, and even in London, if you're from central London or north or east or south, or even so anyone who is from London will know exactly where I'm from. But here, man, and in America, actually, it is wonderful to have a British accent in America.
Yeah,
I've had the best times.
Yeah. It's like you feel like such a sophisticated person. Like,
yeah, you get a lot of people are very nice to you. People are very, very nice to you.
Yeah, I feel like there's a name. There's probably a bias for that, like a name for that bias, because there's a bias.
Anglophile.
Okay.
I think
Okay, because there's like also that bias where people will hire you if you're more attractive than other people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a name for it. There's the sunk cost bias. I'd like to learn.
Yeah, there's those biases, but they also some of these biases can make you into a very strange person. I'm trying to remember. Did you ever watch 30 Rock?
Yes.
Do you
remember?
A lot. Did you ever see the episode where the female lead, Liz Lemon, was dating a very attractive man who didn't know he was attractive, and he was experiencing life differently from the point of view of someone who is attractive?
I was ready to say there's no way I remember any episode because I was a kid, but that's actually ringing a bell. Is she blonde?
No.
Oh no, she's a redhead or like brunette. Yeah. She acts in Orange Is the New Black now as another.
She does. I've never seen it.
I think so. if we're thinking about the same person, yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
She kind of had like a little bit of a chubby face, a little bit.
Yeah. So there's a few.
I remember that. I remember an episode where she brings in a guy. I don't know, and he's attractive. I don't remember the part of him being oblivious to the fact that he's attractive.
Yeah, and he just has a great time in life and doesn't realize that everyone is not having such a wonderful time handed to them. But yeah, the British accent in America does kind of make things just a bit nicer.
Yeah.
It's weird though when people come up to you and like, oh, can you say my name? I'm like, what? Sure.
Yeah. I have a few friends in England. I have one, I don't know if how familiar with the geography of England, because I'm not. So I don't know if this is like a very obscure place or not. Northumbria.
No, I've never been there,
okay,
but I've heard of it.
Yeah, he lives there. His name is Daniel Teasdale.
I was gonna say, if this is a Bahraini living in Northumbria, why?
No. It's a British guy I met through Call of Duty editing. I used to do video editing. I still do sometimes. I used to do Call of Duty video editing on YouTube, and we met that way.
Oh, really?
And we still talk a few days.
From what I know of it, there's a lot of countryside there.
Yes.
But
he likes to mountain bike.
Yeah, there's not very much anything else.
Yeah, like, I'm an urban person. I mean, Bahrain is an urban island.
Yeah, like I think the only people who are in Northumbria are the people who are born there. But nobody's going to Northumbria.
I feel like
anything.
I feel like I'll split this podcast into 2 episodes. What do you think?
Yeah,
I think it's a better thing to do, right?
Let's do it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, because the first part was a lot of psychology.
Yeah, I think it's nice to touch on some lighter topics as well.
Yeah,
I think people I come across too serious often. I get told this a lot.
That's the problem in Bahrain, right? Yeah. When we talk about these things, is what put a label on us.
Yeah, I've got what do they call it with the resting bitch face? Yeah. People think I'm just angry. It's just a neutral look.
I have that
it's
too.
a look of no emotion.
Yeah, I tend to smile a lot and it hurts my face. Like, I've been smiling, like my face is hurting right now, but I feel like I'm having a good time, right? Yeah. So I smile a lot. But when I do have a resting bee face, it's very people think I'm always angry or like sad or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
it's just indifference.
Yeah,
just nothing.
Yeah, it's nothingness.
Nothingness. Yeah, this is the look of nothingness.
Yeah. Another. If you want to keep going, there's one more.
Let's have a look at time.
All right.
Sure.
All right. There's one more. Talking about investing and being financially smart.
Oh.
I'll start us off.
Go on.
So Dan Hibschman, I keep mentioning this guy. He's very into finance. He majored in finance and accounting. I think he double majored. He did his CFAs and all that stuff. He's bright. He taught me about investing and stuff. I didn't know anything about that. And so I feel like a lot of people who are younger don't understand the importance of investing. And I feel like everybody says this. Everybody says, oh, you need to invest. But nobody actually teaches you how. And people are saying it just for the sake of saying it.
Oh, definitely.
To think that they're like financially smart. And I'm not trying to bash on them. Like if you're still giving out a good message as a consequence, even if you're being a little bit hypocritical that you're not investing. But it's crazy to me how people don't understand how. I think it's because of crypto a little bit. It's making people dumb. People are jumping ship, not jumping ship, they're jumping on the crypto trend because they saw that insane return short term.
Yeah, did you see how much it jumped Bitcoin last week though?
Yeah, like 62K right now, 63K US dollars.
65.
65, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not a short-term investor. I was not an investor beforehand, but when I met him, he taught me the power of compound interest and investing at a young age. Right? It's like exponential, builds up on itself. That's what I'm doing. So I made a whole 25 year plan on an Excel sheet.
Wow.
Yeah, I can show it to you later.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it propagated itself, right? It populated itself. So I just had to put a formula and an initial amount and then drag it down to 25 rows. So each row, each row is a month. So it's going to be a lot of rows.
That's a lot of rows.
Yeah. So I'm investing in mutual funds. And I think that's like the thing you should do. Are you familiar with?
I am, but I've taken a very different approach in life.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, what I'm doing is half of my salary I invest in the mutual fund. Before, it used to be like 30% or 20% will be in crypto and 30% in mutual fund. But now, because the way I think about it is when you're investing in mutual fund, for people who don't know, you're basically giving your money to like a fund manager. They're taking people from all kinds of places. They're taking all your money, putting in this one fund, and they're taking your money and splitting it up and investing it in different companies, depending on where you are. For me, it's around the world, but some people it's just companies around America or top 5 Fortune 500 companies, which is S&P 500, I think. So but you're basically investing in the economy. And if you look throughout history, economy always goes up eventually, even if there's a recession, 2008.
If you're looking long term, big picture.
Yeah, it's unless there's like a third world war or something like that, right? It's not like 100%, but it's very safe. Economy always goes up, especially now we're in the cusp of VR and AI, all that stuff, machine learning and big data and cloud computing. Like we're moving on to the next phase of civilization and technology. And so investing in it is going to be huge. So that's why I'm investing in it, because it's safe and it's guaranteed, quote unquote guaranteed, right? Or an asterisk I'll put there, right? The math I did. So what I did is, like I said, 50% of my salary, and I did 7% yearly rate of return.
Okay,
which is safe because I'm accounting for inflation. Usually people go for 8 or 9, which is pretty. 9 is pretty high. 9 and 10 pretty high. I think.
I mean, 7
is like pretty safe, right?
Yeah.
So I went for a safe. Like this is like based on historical data I've seen. 7 is very safe. I want it to be the lowest. Which plan is going to make me a millionaire by the time I'm 40, 45 with this rate of return, right? Safest. So that's why I did 25-year plan, and the number I came up with, I'm going to invest $300,000 something dollars. I'm going to get back $3.4 million. Okay, that's pretty good. That's the plan, right? And what do you think about like this kind of like short term versus long term?
Depends what you want in life.
Mm-mm.
Like the world was a very different place when I was your age. Like I wanted to travel a lot, and I wanted experiences, and I wanted to see things, do things, and travel is one of the greatest educations you'll get, exploring different cultures. So I paid for my way through uni and law school, and then I started traveling the world, trying to work out like what I want to do with life. And if I had been a bit more, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to do this, I'm going to invest in this thing long term, I would be making those decisions. But I just didn't. I said I've never really been money driven. And I know it's not the most sensible thing to do. I'm fully aware that is a much more stable way to live life. But I've just always just gone after happiness first, which was how I've invested my money as well. It's just, okay, I could put it into funds or I'll start a business. And I'm not aiming that this business will make me millions. I'm aiming that I'll be able to employ some people and they'll be able to support their families, and I'll be happy, and I'll be able to offer value.
Yes.
And I'll do something that I think is interesting with my time. But in terms of the short-term returns, whenever it comes to investing, I think the greatest advice, I think, is Warren Buffett. One of these chaps said, look, I don't think it was him actually. If you're investing money short-term, it's gambling.
He probably said that, Warren Buffett.
And that invest money you don't need.
Yeah.
If this is money that's going to change any aspect of your life, do not be doing in short-term investments with that money.
Do not.
Do not. It doesn't matter how much it is, but if this is like going to stop you from paying the bills or whatever the thing that you've got, then you shouldn't be short-term investing, because it's just gambling.
Mm-hmm.
And no one knows. Literally, no matter how educated, how experienced, nobody knows.
True.
It's all roulette. And if that wasn't true and one person did know, they would have won. They would be a multi-trillionaire and own everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there isn't that person. There's just a few people who have done very well from making some lucky and smart decisions, but there's nobody knows.
True.
These fund managers lose tons of money all the time. But like you said, the S&P ones, these big companies, even though they make, I mean, some of them make profits, some of them don't. Like Tesla, they make a loss in each car, don't they?
Yeah.
But the money that is invested in Tesla wasn't to do with its profitability to begin with. It was to do with his vision, and people just believe. So what would the fund manager's reason be to invest in that company? Like yesterday I was talking to this Bahraini. He started as a gamer. He now does crypto advice. Do you know Allah Kozasuk?
I heard of Kozasuk. Yeah.
Yeah. So the chap behind it.
Okay.
I was talking to him. We're doing some work together tomorrow, in fact.
Okay.
And what did he tell me as well? Is talking about investments. What did he say? He said something very smart about investments, because he's advising people on crypto. But basically, like, you gotta be careful. Oh yeah, invest in something you believe in. Like we were talking about Solana. Have you heard of Solana? So it's a coin. It's got some interesting thing, like Ethereum 2.0, cooler.
Yeah.
When that one comes out, I'm defo jumping in, and Solana as well. He said he had put a lot of money into it, and he said, I believe in the vision of what they're doing. Because I said to him, are you jumping in? Because I've heard many people talk about this is the next Bitcoin. Like it's $156 for one now, but it's got the potential of being 65,000 for one.
I always get skeptical when people say that. Always.
Yeah, but this is like Ethereum. You know what the difference of Ethereum 2 is?
Yeah.
Like what's happening in the technology.
Like, from what I can tell is that it's like predictive. So the issue I think it's trying to solve is cryptocurrency is causing a lot of, it's taking a lot of energy, drawing a lot of energy. Yeah. And so what Ethereum 2.0 is trying to do is it looks at your machine, sees how much it potentially can mine, and it just gives you that.
And it locks your machine.
It locks your machine, yeah. And then the time it takes for it to,
which is going to be amazing.
Yes.
Because when Tesla pulled out of crypto, they're like, oh, it's not green.
Yeah.
Now it's green. Everyone's going to dump money into it. It's going to be a massive boom on that one. Solana does something with smart contracts that I researched blockchain a lot for work. And I remember Solana solves, I think it's the rate of transactions, because the gas price on smart contracts and how many you can do, it didn't make sense on scale blockchain when you were talking about financial transactions, when you're really talking about like Visa level transactions. But I think Solana's solving that problem. So with the right adoption, which it looks like it's going to get, it'll be something.
All right. So you heard it from Omer. Invest in, was it Solana?
Solana. They're SOL. I'm not saying if you invest in this, look at it as gambling.
Yeah, of course.
Pure gambling. Yeah. So or like what's 156 in BD? That's what, like 50 BD?
What was the
$156? That's what, like 70?
Yeah, it's like 50, 60.
So if you went to a nice restaurant, that's what, dinner for two? So you could have dinner for two, or one coin that might do very well in some period of time.
Of course.
Like I heard about a guy in Bahrain who invested in Bitcoin ages ago and had sat on these coins for such a long time. He said he bought a pizza for 2 Bitcoin.
I want to tell you a story, and then we can wrap this up because I know you got to leave. Yeah. When I was a kid, when I was younger, I had access to the internet and watched YouTube videos. This is a long time ago. I'll say 14, so 10 years ago, maybe even before a little bit. I used to watch. I was interested in crime videos, and like dark web videos.
Oh wow!
I wouldn't go to the actual dark web and watch the videos. I just watch people talk about it, right? These theories and all that stuff. And they talk. There's one YouTuber, I forgot his name, but he always talked about counterfeit money.
Okay.
And he said that what people do, how do people pay for this? They use Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is untraceable. Well, it's not untraceable. I think he said it's like just decentralized currency. It is untraceable
until the wallet comes back on the network.
Yes. Yeah. So at that time, it's like that's what criminals use to buy counterfeit, or they just do these crimes, or just buy things that are illegal, but they're not that bad, right? I was very interested, and then he said Amazon actually accepts Bitcoin. At the time, it did. I was like, oh. I wanted to own Bitcoin just for the heck of it, not to use it to buy anything, because it sounds cool. Like, I feel like I'm like a badass illegal guy has like Bitcoin. So I told my mom at that time, keep in mind, Bitcoin costs like 100 fils or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is when it was cheap, right?
It's the cheapest. Okay, I promise you this happened. I told my mom, can I get your credit card so I can buy like a few hundred Bitcoin? It's not too much, like 10 BD, whatever, right? She said, no, I don't want to put my card on the internet.
Oh, no.
And I tell my mom the story. Now, I said, Mom, if you know what would happen if you given me that money, I would have been a millionaire. I wasn't going to buy like 1 or 2. I was going to buy like 20 BD worth or something at that time. It's hundreds of coins, right? I tell her this, and she said, I remember. She said, I remember, and I regret.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. As a parent, like, oh no.
And you know what sucks? After that, my sister grew up a little bit and she got her laptop and everything. We were playing Club Penguin. She then allowed my sister to use the card to buy like some sort of igloo or some sort of like accessory for her penguin in Club Penguin.
Okay.
I'm like, now you put your card? Now you decide you put your card?
Oh my god!
If that time frame was different, if you let me, I didn't think of Bitcoin at that time. After she bought it, I forgot about it at that point.
Yeah.
But then when it skyrocketed when I was in college, I'm like, is that the same coin? And I looked it up, like it is the same coin.
That's frustrating. You'll think about that. You got to try not to think about that.
Yeah,
that's
I'm not that bothered.
Crazy. Yeah,
not that bothered.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been super interesting.
Yes. Did you enjoy it?
I did.
I'm glad you did.
I did.
I had a feeling we would enjoy it. And this is like a lot, by far. This is we had to pause, and we've reached since the pause 1 hour and 22 minutes.
Oh, wow.
It's not accounting to what was before the pause.
Am I?
So this could be at least.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I loved it. I want to talk forever.
Yeah. Whenever you put this online, please share it with me and all of the other interviews. I really want to see them.
Of course. October 25th is the first episode. 25th. I'll send it to you. It's in 5 days.
Okay, Ricky. How frequently are you going to publish?
Depending on the guests, because I have a lot of guests flaking on me and not showing up. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, or postponing. So I wanted to do it like twice a week. The reason why I have people come before the release is to have a backlog to help me make content.
Yeah, we record a lot more than we publish.
Yeah, so I want to do that. But when I get to the point where I catch up, that's where I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to do it twice? Is it going to be too much for the editing? Is it too much pressure? Or it might be weekly. I want to see how people react to it. I care about people's opinions, but I also don't care because it's not. My goal isn't to make it a business. If it does, it does. That's why. If it happens, it happens. I was gonna say that's why I don't cuss here.
Yeah,
but I also don't cuss because parents and all that stuff. Family.
Yeah, I would say it's just nicer not to on the whole. Yeah.
Well, thank you. If you want to let people know what's going on in your life, like you have a marketing agency.
I do. Yeah, it's called Ola.
Yeah.
Ola the agency. You can look us up. We're on the internet and stuff. We do a range of stuff. We're like, I coined the phrase psychographic. We're psycho advertisers because we do psychographic advertising.
Okay.
So we think about who the customer is. Our work is in video. We do filmmaking.
That's my
photography. Yeah, you should see.
It's my hobby.
Stuff.
Yeah,
we just had the first. I think it's the first Arabic video on Rolls-Royce global page go up. Yeah, so they loved our stuff. We're doing some more work with Rolls-Royce soon. So we work with like restaurants, apps, websites, and we do their marketing or videos or influence. Tomorrow I'm doing some influence stuff for a bank, I think.
Okay.
So shooting some ads for a bank. I think we're doing some food photography tomorrow as well. I love the food photography a lot because we work with more of a premium market. So the food's always ridiculously good.
And you get to eat it, right?
In some shoots is a bit torture because it's not made for eating.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's like techniques to make it for photos.
Honestly, it's just saving. I don't like to waste stuff. And if you've got a dish that's out for a long time, because you don't take the picture in 1 minute.
Yeah, of course.
We take maybe an hour a photo, maybe sometimes 3. And people have to touch it, move it around. You're not going to want to eat that food afterwards. It's just been too handled.
Yeah.
So you can't eat. So you just have to stare at this. It is the thing, but it's just...
It looks delicious.
You don't want to touch something that's been breathed all over for 3 hours and handled. So yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, I'm so hungry, but I have to look at this cake.
You're the second person I've had. Last guest I've had was also co-founded a marketing agency.
Oh, really?
Only recently though. So
Which one?
It's called Carolina Mir.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They just partnered up with Local BH. They got acquired by Local BH, or I don't know, some acquisition happened. Merger.
Really?
It's a merger.
It's a merger.
Yeah, between Local and
Saul's a nice chap.
Yeah. I want to have him on. So we'll see.
I'm sure he'll be more than happy to come on.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude.
Yeah.
I've known some years.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll come back again. I feel like it doesn't have to be a different guest every time. I can have recurring guests. So hopefully
let me know. I'm available.
Of course. All right.
All right. Thanks, buddy.